Thank you, everybody, again for joining us on another trip to Nintendoland. We're back for our April episode. We're here once again. I'm Mike Burgess. Burgess. I'm here. Hello, and so is Alex O'Neill.
Hello.
As always, we're here to talk everything Nintendo. This is our monthly Nintendo-focused show here / podcast, and we're always here on youtube.com/Irrational Passions, or we're on all your favorite podcast feeds. All of them, we're out there everywhere. So thanks everybody for tuning in.
I got an aspirational dream for you, Mike.
Okay,
we got to make happen because we are a Nintendo podcast. We got to get you on Friend Code, Damiani's podcast on Easy Allies. He has a bunch of great smaller podcasters on there.
We could have triple mic thread on there probably.
That's true. You could get the triple mics. I always forget Damiani is a Michael.
Yeah, I'd definitely be down, but I don't think we have.
We got the cloud.
We don't have the cloud for that.
I'm starting the campaign. Well, you don't until you do. I'm starting the campaign now. Called Shot. We're gonna get Mike on. The triple mic threat will happen
one day. That'd be very fun. I'd be totally down.
Yeah.
To talk Nintendo stuff with them. I mean, admittedly though, we're here in April. Towards the end of April is when this episode will go live, and we're in the dry months. We're in the summer or the spring lull of news and some video games. And, I will say there were some Nintendo games that did come out, but I think they just were not speaking to us in particular. Like that Chrono Cross remaster came out on Switch earlier this month, and by the time this episode comes out, I think Nintendo Switch Sports will be out.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was so soon.
Yeah, it's like the very end of April. But personally, it was not. That was a game I was not really interested in checking out. I don't know if you were, but that was not my thing. So we figured we could just get the ball rolling. There is some
and Advance Wars was supposed to be out,
right? Good point.
But that obviously got delayed for very understandable reasons.
Yeah, so that did get pushed back because of the ongoing war, our near
real
war. Yeah,
unfortunately, our hearts go out to our folks in Ukraine.
Yeah, for sure. That was a right call to do that.
We did get an undelay.
Yeah, we have there was some news that did happen, though at least nothing like bombshell major, but it's definitely a bunch of stuff worth talking about for sure, at least. And like you said, we had an undelay or a forward.
We don't have like a kitschy industry term for this because it doesn't happen enough.
A quick word, yeah. This is a very rare occurrence. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which was originally slated just for September. It didn't have a specific date. It was just.
I'll be honest, I forgot it was September.
Yeah,
too. I thought it was November or something.
Right. Yeah, it was September 2022. That's all that had for a date, but it has been now moved to July 29th, so it has a full date. So that's pretty cool. It's basically like a whole probably 2 months and probably would have came out. So that's pretty cool for fans of Xenoblade. I think we've said it before that like it's not a franchise I think either of us have gotten really into. At least myself.
No, but I might play this one.
Yeah. Thinking about
it. I thought about jumping into Xenoblade 2. And this one looks better than that. And it's one of those things where they're all like concurrent as far as at least the first two games are like concurrent in kind of separate worlds.
Right.
So I feel like I'm not necessarily gonna be missing out, probably not until the end of the game on stuff.
Yeah.
If I jump into 3, but this one looks good. Did you watch this trailer that they put out?
I didn't actually. No, I didn't have time to check it out because I honestly didn't realize they put out like a trailer for like the date reveal until I was like looking up news for the show and then saw
like a 3-minute trailer too.
Yeah, it's just, I'm assuming does it go hard?
I bring it up because I realize I'm a huge JRPG lover, but it is just an incomprehensible trailer. Like there is just if you take it for face value of like what you're looking at, it's just like different characters, all with the same accent, but different people yelling, nonsensical half statements.
We have to fight for the fate of our world.
Yeah, like stuff like that, but like 12 of them, like from different people, and then combat that is just loud.
Yeah, you know? I was gonna say I did. That is one thing I will say is I did see screenshots of the UI for this game, and I was just like, I couldn't. That would be painful for me. I think if I tried to play that and saw this UI screen come up and trying to play this game and all the action that happens while these like
a lot.
It's just that seemed like it would just
and there's like
melt my brain.
There's like a Pacific Rim style like mind meld in the drift mechanic to this game where people turn into Evangelion mechs.
Oh, cool.
Which is cool. It looks really cool, but like it shows them in like this nether world that looks like the Soul Stone world that Thanos goes to in Avengers, and they're like standing foot to foot like on this water bed, and their like minds are melded, I guess.
Right.
It's just and it is not just a problem exclusive to Xenoblade Chronicles, but it is just JRPG trailers that go hard, just go way too hard.
It's one of those things where like when you're it's totally, you're totally right. It's totally one of those JRPG things of like, if you're all the way in, you'd watch a trailer and be like, oh my God, what is going on? You know, I'm sure there's people out there who like lose their minds when things are seeing in that. And maybe there are connections, like you said, like we don't really maybe directly know, but they might see them through those trailers or something. But since we're just kind of on the outside, we're just like, what is happening?
Yeah, sure.
What in the world
is yelling a lot?
Because I think a good connection of that is like, it's not directly Nintendo related, but hey, Kingdom Hearts 4 was recently announced and those games are on the Switch, so like that's a good comparison point for us, right? Like we probably watch that
definitely
trailer
parts
and be
of
like,
that
you're
trailer.
Just like, what?
Yeah,
cool.
Where
people are just
if you don't know what's happening,
why is Sora in Tokyo and why is he a real human now?
Yeah, why is he a man now? why are there people taking pictures on their cell phones? I didn't know that was a part of Kingdom Hearts. It's like, well, to be fair, that's new.
Yeah, that's pretty new. Yeah,
kind of. Sora has a cell phone in Kingdom Hearts 3. It's weird.
He gets a cell phone.
I thought of Kingdom Hearts trailers.
Yeah.
But another one that definitely comes to mind, and this is one more exclusive to me, the Trails of Cold Steel games, like there's like a new Trails game that is coming out probably in a couple years in the US, but
cool.
I watched the trailer for it and it's the same like formula of a JRPG trailer applied to that, of just like character yells and then like title goes across the screen, then a shot of combat that's just incomprehensible.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening?
They're just like powering up, and all these like
there's a guy that turns into like a mech in that game too.
Of course, there's a mech somewhere. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
I love that.
But it looks good. I like visually. I'll say Xenoblade 3 looks really, really good. Really impressive for a Switch game.
Cool. Yeah. That's cool to hear. I'm definitely curious, and that's cool for folks to get that game sooner. It definitely brought up the question for me of like maybe like something behind the scenes of like maybe like something that was maybe slated maybe for that period now had to get pushed out of there and maybe made more sense to Nintendo or whoever for September.
Or are they putting some Zelda remasters out there in September?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, some Zelda remaster. That would be a good place to slot that in now for sure. Or maybe
it could have been also like Breath of the Wild 2 was their September game, and obviously that got delayed recently, so they were just kind of shifting stuff around the schedule.
Yeah, shifting stuff around, or maybe like the game I was thinking of was the Mario Rabbids game, just because like we haven't heard anything about that game.
Yeah,
so like maybe they like that was originally going to be like their late summer, early fall game, and now it's just the people working on that still don't know where they're going to land on it or something. I don't know.
That's a good one. That makes the most sense to me, because
we just haven't seen like anything since its reveal, really.
That would have made sense to like announce the release date in their June direct, and then it's July. So if it got shifted back to September or something like that, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a lot of things, but I think again we're in that lull. I think we're just waiting for that big July news blowout at this point in some respects, in terms of big news. Like we'll probably get some smaller stuff here and there, probably through May.
Yeah, but May and April are definitely the months with the least video games coming out.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone's prepping for the big summer news, which is blowout.
Nice. Usually it's like June, July, August is when no video games are coming out.
Yeah.
Now it's like video games are always coming out. So anytime we get a breather, it's like, okay.
Yeah. I know I can play some other games I missed.
I can finish Kirby. I have enough time.
Yeah. Actually play another video game besides one. Or at best.
I'm done with Elden Ring. You beat Elden Ring, Mike. You're free now.
Free. That's right. Damn right. It's over. Yeah, but that's fun for Xenoblade fans. Next news item we got here continues in the line of like, when are they just gonna announce this dang thing? Nintendo, please just hurry up. But now it's even more official in terms of the Game Boy, the Game Boy emulator itself that would be used has leaked onto the internet.
I hadn't seen this until now. That's great.
So this Nintendo Life article I'm pulling. It's like a good collection of the news. This article is from Gavin Lane. He kind of puts the tweets out there from the original author. The tweet was from, what is it, Trash Bandicoot. But basically his tweets read, so Nintendo's official Game Boy Advance emulator for the Nintendo Switch Online just leaked. Now it's just a matter of waiting for NSO to add GBA. So it's basically the files got online. Apparently they were posted to 4chan originally, and then people went through them and got them working. And the emulator itself is called Sloop, SLOOP. And then there is an archive of other things, but basically it boils down to, these are the emulators, more or less, that the Nintendo European research and development team uses to like test and make sure those games actually work. Like, that team is the same team who did like the things. They're kind of behind a lot of the other classic console emulators that were put on those store shelves. And they did the Mario 3D All-Stars like emulation and stuff. So this is their emulator that somehow got online, and it is a fully working Game Boy / Game Boy Color emulator. So people already have that, and they're able to get it onto a Switch and get it working and play like the Game Boy games that are listed in that online thing. And people have then found the files for the Game Boy Advanced emulator, but I don't think that is working just yet. But you can see, like, in this article, they have like a big list of Game Boy Advance games already here. You can just kind of see them, like Pokemon Pinballs in that list. Golden Sun games are in that list.
Tactics Ogre. Makes me wonder what's going to be region specific.
Yeah. So like all the stuff is there, so it's clearly like it's going to be a thing. It's like, of course, it's pretty. I think a lot of people were expecting this at some point. It's just a matter of when now, right? Because we did finally get N64 games recently on Nintendo Switch Online, but now looks like Game Boy.
Whatever the next direct is, probably.
Yeah, at this point, that's the hope, right? Of like, just put this as an additional thing. I doubt they would increase the price on that service by adding this stuff.
It would still be behind the expansion pass paywall, if I had to guess, though. Kind of like the N64 stuff.
Yeah.
2 in, 2 out of the expansion pass makes sense. I guess 3 in, because the Genesis games are only for the expansion pass as well.
Yeah, the Genesis games are in there as well. I also heard some rumbling that people also found like an updated version of the NES Switch Online stuff, so there was more games in that. So it was a thing where it had like even had like Mega Man in there, I think, and Tetris and stuff. So there might be more of that stuff coming. Hopefully they're just not, it might have just been a testing thing to see how the emulation
they're probably just working on it. That's my guess.
Yeah, definitely an interesting development there.
But what are the GBA games? What are the GBA games that need to be there, Mike?
I would say Mario and Luigi games need to be on that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It'd be
At
really
least the first one.
It'd be really cool if they got some Pokemon games on there, like Fire Red and Leaf Green, or like Emerald, or any of those era GBA Pokemon games. Would be really cool. What else? So I mean, there's obviously like Fire Emblem games would be really cool. I know a lot of people like those Fire Emblem Game Boy games.
Fire Emblem would be really good. There's so many good Game Boy Advance games.
Yeah, there's a lot of like awesome GBA games on there.
It's one of my favorite.
Minish Cap would be awesome.
Yeah. Minish Cap is for sure.
Yep.
If they wanted to do like some version of Four Swords, would be cool.
Yeah.
Totally. The original Four Swords, if you could, since those tend to have online multiplayer, but obviously that would be, you'd have to do a little extra work for GBA,
right?
Because that did link cable stuff. So, and it looked like Mario Kart GBA was in there, which we talked about last episode actually, because one of the courses is one new course in that GBA game is in the first expansion pack thing.
That's Super Mario Kart Super Circuit is the GBA one, and that one's decent. But it's a GBA
it's fine.
Game. It's a GBA game, so
it's basically Super Mario Kart again,
pretty much,
which is on the weaker end. But I think they added like drifting and stuff to it.
Yeah, it's like a mix of new and old courses. Yeah,
Golden Sun's already there. Like the first one, I think the second one's a DS game. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I think both Fire Emblem GBA games would be good. Sacred Stones and Fire Emblem. Minish Cap is good too, and if you can manage it, Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, those are two 10 out of 10 games.
Yeah, that'd be super awesome.
And then you have
definitely a lot of
Metroid in one place.
Finally,
I kind of expected them to do Game Boy Color first, so I'm glad they're going to Game Boy Advance because that.
Well, yeah, it seems like it's all here because there is Game Boy and Game Boy Color stuff.
Okay.
In here as well, so it could just be. It could be.
The Game Boy generation,
just like a game, just all Game Boy stuff, just all kind of together.
That'd be cool.
So
I wonder if they would do the WarioWare Twisted.
Oh yeah, WarioWare. Yeah, I think that was Twisted. I think you're right. I don't remember exactly.
Because it had the gyro in the game cart.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And obviously the Switch has gyro built into it.
Yeah.
So
Let me look at this list real quick again and see if I can point out any games I missed.
I think that was the first WarioWare I really got into. Was the Game Boy Advance one.
Mr. Driller 2. There's a Mario Bros. I think that was like a remake of a whole Mario
Bros. It was like the arcade Mario Bros.
There's some game called Ninja 5-0 Ninja Cop. I have no idea what that is. I think it might be like a GBA game.
Sounds like a game Nintendo would pick though.
Yeah, some random super weird,
obscure game that nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah, some weird obscure Japanese game. That'll be interesting. And like you said, I think it is a. I think if we got news of it, it would again be at that big, the next big direct and.
Yeah. Do you think we'll get one before June?
I don't think so. Just because it's like, I feel Nintendo's like I think their head's down at this point and just gonna wait till June to start.
I could see us getting an indies.
True.
They don't call it that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Indie World. Yeah, we haven't had one of those in a while. That's actually a really good point. We haven't had those.
Yeah, and I'm still banking on what's Inscription coming to Switch before it comes to anything else.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
It's one of those games Nintendo would go for.
That could be maybe a May thing. Maybe have the May thing be an Indie World before we get into like the big direct with all the Nintendo first party stuff or something like that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Feels right to me.
For sure.
But I don't know if there would be. Yeah, they wouldn't. They dropped the idea of doing those like mini directs with third party game focuses. Right. So there's nothing else that filled that hole.
Yeah, I don't think they would do anything like that again. And that I think they feel like they're back into just doing those big kind of more quarterly directs like they kind of used to do a lot of. I feel like we're just kind of back in that mode now at this point.
Yeah.
But
the other news story we got.
Yeah, the other news story is an ongoing story. It's a little bit interesting. I think you did a little bit more research into this than I did. So if you want to kind of take the reins and explain kind of what you've sussed out from here on
Steve
this.
Zatillo,
Steve Zatillo report,
formerly of Kotaku, now of Axios. I don't know if folks listening, you should check out the Axios newsletter. It's like a daily gaming news newsletter. It's very good. Focuses more on like, industry stuff, labor issues, kind of like more not limited to just game announcements and stuff, but that's in there too. But yeah, he there was a complaint filed, but we don't know by who. So there's gonna be a lot of, allegations, let's say, but we alleged things in this
it's all
report.
still in the alleged.
Yeah, we don't know for sure. So take it with a grain of salt. And responsible reporting know that not all of this confirmed, but a complaint was made on behalf of what is it the National Labor Relations Board to Nintendo for allegedly firing an employee that was trying to unionize. But like I said, we don't know who filed the complaint, if it was the employee or someone on behalf of the employee. And so the complaint itself doesn't necessarily have, we don't have enough information on it. And Totila did a good breakdown of some of the information in the actual legal complaint on his Twitter account. But just a lot of questions in regards to that. Nintendo ended up responding to him today that they were recording this, saying that they had fired this contract employee for leaking confidential information, not because they were attempting to unionize. So that, draws a lot of questions. But after hearing this, some people came forward and talked about some of their experiences as a contract employee of Nintendo. Pretty grim stuff. And I did without naming anybody specifically, I looked into kind of how some of the folks that I know that had worked at Nintendo and or still work there responded, and there was definitely some awkward quietness around it of not wanting to talk about it. But yeah, some stories about being pressured to not take time off, mandatory 2 months time off sometime in the year unpaid to kind of maintain contractor status so they wouldn't have to hire certain employees full time. I saw one, kind of story about someone that had gone to a manager to ask for time off for Awesome Games Done Quick or Summer Games Done Quick, and seemed to think that they had gotten the approval for it, but the day that they were going to go, they were fired, kind of unceremoniously, which is a thing that happens a lot with kind of contract employees. I feel like, you know, look to the recent Activision Blizzard stuff about QA testers that were contract employees that were not given full-time benefits and kept as contract employees so that way they wouldn't have to be paid contract or any benefits whatsoever. So a lot of this kind of falls into the contract camp. Worth noting that I didn't see any accounts from full-time employees, and it's more than likely that if you are full-time, you're very much under NDA. That was kind of the vibe that I got. So it doesn't mean that kind of abusive labor practices don't happen to those employees. We don't know for sure either way yet, obviously. But it's more like they just might not necessarily be able to say. But yeah, it is kind of I hate to say it, but it's like the stuff we've heard before, just not in a good way. So we don't have I don't have anything outside of a couple of firsthand accounts, alleged accounts, of course. But I have a feeling that we will probably hear more, maybe even by the time you hear this. That's the sensation I get of somebody's probably doing some digging right now. So I also saw the idea thrown out there that Nintendo moved Xenoblade Chronicles 3 up because they knew that this report was coming, and that is not how that works. I just want to let everybody know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seems like a stretch.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, like you said, it sucks to hear this. Every time it happens, you hear about the company that makes all the games you like, or the games you like are the games you played growing up, and hearing that they are just can kind of be really shitty to employees, and especially employees that are in more I guess what's the word's escaping me, but more
like vulnerable,
more vulnerable places, specifically like contractors and stuff. And I've not worked in the game industry, so I don't know the full extent, but even from my own personal experiences of working contract level jobs, it's definitely, I can understand.
You're like a second class citizen.
You feel, you at all times. Yeah, there's so many times where you feel like inferior to the people working at the main company, and some of there's some of that's by design. Some of it's not directly the full-time employees mindset, but sometimes the contractors themselves are, they know what they're doing and know what they signed up for, and they don't really care. They just want the bottom dollar done and the money flowing.
Yeah, and this everything that I'm pulling from here is in specific to Nintendo of America.
Yeah,
it's worth noting as well.
That's it. Yeah, and it's Nintendo America and this contractor that's like that Nintendo contracts out for employees.
Yeah, they go through this one third party
to
contract employees into. So yeah, I don't know, how far this reaches, but.
Right.
Like I said, we will likely have more information in the near future.
Yeah, it's an evolving investigation. It seems like this pretty much just broke, like literally like a couple days before, and it seems like Nintendo has accepted the investigation and that it is happening. So like they are not fighting it or doing anything. So we'll just have to let it play out and see where it leads and see what is uncovered.
Hopefully to better working conditions for Nintendo employees.
Yeah, that's definitely the end goal there, is hopefully this is not as bad as it seems, or if it is as bad as it seems, it can lead to some change for those employees. That's ultimately the goal there, to head into a positive direction. But yeah, that's more or less the news that's happened for April in the world of Nintendo. Not all great, but
nice spectrum of news.
Nice spectrum of news. We're gonna shift from news here into some games talk, because there has been some games. I think it's mostly just been finishing up some stuff. I think we both have. Have you finished Kirby yet?
I finished Kirby today.
Nice. Yeah, I finished it this past weekend. I finished it, but I dabbled a little bit into there's a post game kind of thing.
Yeah, I finished the post game today as well.
Okay, I started some of it, but I did not do all of it. So that's cool.
Without spoiling anything, boy, the end of that game is pretty wild.
Yeah, it just goes into a direction.
It escalates pretty quickly.
And to be fair, some of the other Kirby games have had stuff like this, but not to this level. Like this one definitely even upended this, where there's a lot of the joke has been Kirby's like a fun little cute ball, but then at the end it's like a JRPG, and all of a sudden he's fighting a god. And that pretty much is what happens.
Yeah, we get in that territory for sure.
Into territory, but also into some weird, almost horror,
sci-fi
horror.
Yeah, there's a Resident Evil 2 moment in there for sure.
That surprised me more than anything, that they would go
me
to
too.
that level, and I was like, Jesus, this is what the hell.
Yeah, this is pretty messed up, even for Kirby.
yeah, and for a Nintendo game, for sure. But yeah, that game continued to be super fun. I'm really happy they took Kirby in a new direction, and then still got super weird with it at the end.
Yeah, for sure. It feels like an unfettered Kirby game, 100% through and through. Yeah, and I like in the post game, right? They kind of essentially add like a new zone with much longer levels, without going too specific in anything. But they switch up like the objectives of those longer levels, which I was very much in need of by the time I finished that game. Of like, I definitely ran into the thing of like having to replay a level 4 times or whatever to get everything because I can't stop myself. And it just sucks when you go through a door and you just can't go back.
Just can't go back. Find the one Waddle Dee that was awkwardly behind this thing or this dumb poster.
Or you just see something that you're like, oh, what's, as you go through the door, and then it's like, all right, well, I guess gotta exit the stage and do it all over again now. I had a lot of frustrating moments like that.
Yeah, that is like the one thing
it's like my biggest nitpick, I'd say.
Yeah, and that's like something that's been like across all Kirby games, is there's been a lot of moments like that where you like do these little sequences and then you miss a thing, realize like, oh, I was supposed to go around this corner to break this block, and then I didn't do it in time, and now I'm just trapped, and now I have to play the whole level over again. They at least mitigated some of that in this game with like some of like the longer like little mini game moments have like a retry thing that's like built into the level, which like
I wish there was more of that. Nice. To be honest,
I do agree. I wish there were some moments I wish had a couple more of those little helpful restarts, but
yeah, there's like one level in the ice area on a bridge where the last secret objective is to beat the last mini boss without taking damage, and you have to fight like 4 fights in order to get there. And I tried it like 5 times, and I would always like get right into the fight and then immediately take damage and then have to restart the whole level over again. And I was just like, all right, I'm just not going to get this Waddle Dee, I guess. He's just going to have to die on that bridge.
He's forever trapped in this land.
Yeah. But the post game zone has like a different objective, and they do this lovely iterative thing of telling you when you've gotten everything in an area to let you know that you can go forward. And I was moving. Like, thank God.
Thank you.
Because there's nothing like you're in like a zone, and for the most part in that whole last world, there's no like point of no return, so you can stay in a zone until you get the message. It's like, you got everything here, you can go to the next area now. And I'm sure they did that because they're like 30-minute stages on the high end, so it was just very much appreciated because that way I just 100%ed everything as I went through. There's no like additional objectives like don't get hit or stuff like that. It's just kind of collecting things,
right?
And then I just didn't have to do any of the levels ever again.
Yeah, and just move on. That's cool to hear. I definitely want to dig a little bit more into that at some point. Now that I've beaten my white whale named Elden Ring.
Yes,
because I started it a little bit, and I think I did one of those post levels, and you're collecting the various things, but didn't get beyond much of that. But I like the game. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, good music.
Good music.
Not all great music, but like the last boss had kind of reminds me of like Metroid Dread, of like I had like a few tracks in there that I really liked.
Yeah.
But otherwise it was just like pretty good, and
standard Kirby fare. A lot of a good remix of I guess it's not so spoilery, but of course King Dedede is in that game.
Yeah.
Fight him.
Good
I
music.
I thought that was a cool remix of his theme in there when you fight him. So
yeah, and I do wish there was like more mouthful mode stuff. There were more objects. Sure. Once you realize like, oh, I'm not going to get another one of these. There's like a point, like the halfway point of the game, you're like, okay, I'm starting to get repeats a lot. So I guess there are just no more of these.
I'm doing the cone thing a lot, or I'm getting in this little airboat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's still like good. They just really well constructed and paced levels as far as like get you in, and then you do the mouthful mode thing until like the right exact amount of time, and then you're off on a new thing, and then maybe it's like a challenge kind of focused on a specific power up. So they it's just like really well crafted game design throughout the game, and it's pretty tough. Like the last stuff in that game is pretty difficult.
I will say that final boss, gave me. I think I had to try it once or twice.
The bosses on a whole are pretty good, I'd say. Enough that I wish there were more of them, right? And I very rarely think that, especially coming off of something like Elden Ring.
Yeah, and something I mentioned like last time is I really like that like they kind of took a Mega Man-ish approach to some of those fights and like had like abilities that like would have an extra additional effect fighting particular enemies. Like I like that this was one of the Waddle Dee like challenges where like you're fighting. It was actually like a mini boss, so it was like a major boss, but it had a thing where you're like you had to get the ice power and you freeze them. And I was like trying to figure that out for a while, and then I realized it's like, oh, when they do this very specific attack, you can like freeze the boss by doing the ice move, and then they're like frozen, and you can like launch them around the stage like a frozen thing, which is really fun, like figuring it out. And a bunch of other bosses have that too. Like there's like one of the major bosses is like the cat performer who's like jumping around, and you can get like the gun ability and actually like shoot at her while she's like up in the rafters because she like jumps up off the arena and stuff, and it's cool. I like that
definitely
kind of stuff.
Did.
Yeah, it was
very satisfying.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun just like finding those little things and getting like the upgraded like tier 2 and tier 3 copy abilities like later in the game are like really cool and fun.
Yeah, and then you can like have them do more damage, and that's just like an infinite thing, I guess, or maybe there's a limit to it, but you can just like upgrade damage on everything, which is fun. You just have to grind in the arena forever, I guess.
You have to do those dailies, get those Kirby bounties
which seems miserable, but it's cool that they have that kind of like weird post game element to it. I do wish, like, we talked last episode about how I wish there were more powers, but like the one power of Kirby that I'm familiar with is like the Knuckle Joe upgrade, like the fighter one where he's got the bandana.
Right.
Just because I feel like something like that, you could have like a side dodge, and a side dodge would make a lot of those boss fights.
Yeah, there is actually a dodge you can do. Did you never find that?
Do you mean like just dashing, or is there like a specific maneuver?
There's a specific maneuver where you can, if you when you're Kirby and you crouch, you can hit it. You hit a direction, he'll roll. And you can actually do that if you do it to time it right. You get like a witch time slowdown time thing.
I never did that the whole game.
I was gonna say I didn't know much about it early in the game, and then I forget what it was that it was. It might have just been like some random in-game pop. No, I remember what it was. It was there's like the wise Waddle Dee guy. Did you ever talk to him in the little town?
Yeah, I talked to him.
He's always really funny. And I think just like one of his random things was just like, you can dodge with this. And I just went like, oh, really? And then I like noticed it. Yeah, you just like hold down the crouch button and like move the stick a direction, and he'll like roll in like he'll like do like a little flip or a back flip in a direction. And then I was like trying that out in a boss fight. And then I just ended up figuring out that like if you do it at that right moment, it'll like dodge out of the way and give you like a witch time like Bayonetta slowdown, and you can
that's great
do moves. It's pretty silly and fun.
Well, I beat the whole game without it, so now I'm curious. So
yeah, I was gonna say I did most of the game without it too. So I
haven't done there's like 2 extra arena challenges, so if knowing that maybe we'll make those more enjoyable. I was gonna just not do them, but maybe I'll try them now.
Yeah. But yeah, Kirby's super fun.
Yeah,
I had a great time with that. I've been playing a little bit of Mario Kart Tour still, believe it or not.
Still in the hole, huh?
Still in the hole. The main reason I did it because in particular this week it got updated with a new completely original track based off of Amsterdam. So there's an Amsterdam track. It's called Amsterdam Drift. And now it's and it's
of course it is.
Yeah. And yeah, it's cool. It's kind of the thing where what I've mentioned in other episodes about Mario Kart Tour, where it seems, at least the moment, it seems like this is like Amsterdam Drift 1, and then eventually we'll probably get Amsterdam Drift 2, which will be like a slightly different layout. So it is a pretty basic course where it's like you like start off in this city street, and it's clear that like you go past these cool looking like big cathedrals that I'm sure are like monuments or destinations in actual Amsterdam. I'm not familiar with names of places from Amsterdam by any means. I've never been there, but you drive past that, and then you like kind of go off this like lighter section over the big canal, because I at least knew there was a big canal in Amsterdam. Which then that takes you into like a more like farmland area, like it's like very Moo Moo Meadows kind of area where you're going through the countryside and these big windmills, and there's Monty moles like popping out of the ground. And you're dodging, and then
that's fun.
Yeah, and then you like drive around, and then you go over like I guess it's like a little boat that's like in the canal that you can like ramp into, and then you go over that, and then you just like loop that. So it's a cool it's a fun little it's based off Amsterdam. It's like a little. It's
coming to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in 6 months.
Yeah, basically, it feels like we'll see this. That's kind of the fun thing I like about Tour now is, although there's definitely some grimy mobile game stuff in there now. It feels like it's almost like a beta, like Mario Kart 8 DLC beta, basically.
Sure.
Where it's like I can just jump in and be like, oh yeah, look this. Here's this fun stage, this fun new stage, original stage, or here's. Waluigi Pinball's in there briefly. It was like a few weeks ago, and that was fun to like just be able to go back to that stage since I haven't played it since the 3DS Mario Kart or stuff like that. So it's all right.
It's the cycling out of tracks that bugs me. It's a bummer.
Yeah,
just let me play whatever.
Yeah, that would be nice, but I also understand because at this point there's been like almost nearly 100 tracks that have been through that game. So that would be a lot for a mobile game, I think. But yeah, I do agree. I wish there was like it's a little bit easier to like go at least see like the completely original courses they've done. But that's kind of
or like a free play mode, like a time trial mode where you can do anything.
You just do anything.
You just got to pay $30 for it.
Yeah, but I guess that's kind of that's probably what the DLC will sort of end up being for Mario Kart 8. Like I feel like
sure. Are there Mario Kart 8 levels that have made their way into Tour?
So not original 8 tracks because Tour does not have anti-grav stuff in it.
Okay.
But some of the tracks that have been in Mario Kart 8 that don't have anti-grav have been in Tour. Like the Yoshi Valley was actually recently in Tour. There was like a Yoshi Tour, and they added the N64 Yoshi Valley track, and then there was the Royal Raceway. That also N64 track was in there, and I think a couple other ones were in there. But yeah, Tour does not have anti-grav stuff in it as of right now, so there's not been any of the original Tour 8 tracks that do anti-grav and stuff. So maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Mm-hmm. They're keeping it on that one, but yeah, it's fine. That's all there was really to Tour. I was meaning to check out some indie games before I got into this episode, but I unfortunately just did not have time because there are some indie stuff, but maybe I can talk about that. I'll try and pick up some cool indie games on Switch for next episode and chat about some more indie stuff there.
Yeah, I'm like on the precipice of going into a Zelda replay.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm in the sickness. Because I did the Metroid replay last year, which was very fun.
Yeah.
I don't usually do like fun stuff like playing in chronological order, which I did with Metroid, which was a good time. So
nice. I'm curious. Like, well, I guess is Majora and Ocarina of Time are on Nintendo Switch Online, right? So they would be easy to play.
Yeah, and I have them on like Wii U and stuff too.
Right, and there's the Wii U. That Wii U would be Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, and Minish Cap is I have through the GBA download on Wii U as well.
The only game I've been thinking about replaying just because I haven't played it recently would be because I still have that Mario All Stars. I haven't gone back and played Mario Galaxy.
It's good.
Yeah, I like Mario Galaxy a lot.
I just hate the way they adapted the gesture controls into that collection.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why I haven't tried it yet because I knew like I would be like heck yeah Mario Galaxy, and then it's like oh right there's weird. Like,
I gotta point the cursor with gyro
controls and junk in it, and I'd be like oh. That would bum me out,
other than Kirby though, I've sat down to play Persona 5 Strikers.
Yes, tell me about.
I finished it.
Persona 5 Strikers.
It's funny. It's an Omega Force game, but it's not a Muso game, which is
really?
it's like it is an action RPG with Muso elements. I would say.
Gotcha.
Occasionally, you are fighting a large swaths of
enemy,
but you're not
like clearing forts and junk. Like
but yeah, there's no the format of it is completely different, which is like
interesting.
I don't remember how this game was marketed. It came out in 2020, which I thought I was like certain it was 2021. I was so certain.
Yeah,
but it was not.
It was all a blur. So.
Yeah, but yeah. So it is an action RPG. Obviously set in the Persona 5 universe. It doesn't have that, you don't have like this kind of set map. You're not like looking at a world map and picking a location to do a mission from like you would. And to be fair, I've only played like a little bit of Hyrule Warriors and a little bit of Fire Emblem Warriors, so I'm not the biggest Warriors person. I'm not an expert on the franchise. But...
Yeah, I would say I'm at a similar boat. Like I played the Zelda Musos, and I played one One Piece Muso.
Okay,
and that's
you had to get your one in.
I had to get the one in. I tried it.
That makes sense for One Piece. I feel like
it like as much as I'm clamoring for the day when there is a good One Piece game, because I think the One Piece
could be this year.
That one they recently announced, One Piece Odyssey, I think is what it's called, is promising, but also like literally has the same exact models from that last game that I played, which was very disappointing.
Yeah.
But so I'm waiting with bated breath on that one. But I think One Piece like has like a, compared to other anime games, I'm going on a tangent here, apologies, but I think the thing that One Piece stands out is like it has like the baseline for like being a good JRPG game, just because of like literally like a good amount of like the thousands of episodes of One Piece are about building the team and having like the camaraderie of building the pirate crew out, and like meeting these characters and learning their stories, and going to these other like destinations, and then having these stories of these other characters and like the conflicts and things. So like it is like primed for that, and they just like, it's just that like, anime companies and who for whatever reason just don't want to invest that heavily into like video games.
Yeah. They can make a cheap game and it'll sell well enough for them to make money off of it, exactly. Right? So that's why it's keeping CyberConnect 2 in business.
Just make the anime people fight each other, and that's all you need.
Yeah. It's always fighting games. It just seems like the lowest common denominator.
Yeah. Or Musos.
Yeah, or Musos. Like it's one of those two. So like I think going into Strikers, I had this idea that it would just be a kind of standard Muso game where you have like that set map, and then eventually it's like, oh, point B is on fire, you got to go fight a big thing there, and it's not that at all. Which is interesting. It makes me think, like, I know obviously this was written by the Persona team, or at least part of it. The music is done by at least part of the Persona team's very good music. Not all of it is as like up to the quality of Persona 5, I'd say, but it's overall extremely good. Very good hype. But it makes me wonder if like Omega Force has it in them, if they had the time to make like a really cool action RPG instead.
Sure.
But yeah, you have like kind of the Muso trappings. I think like the way because I played a little bit of Age of Calamity. And that I know original Hyrule Warriors didn't let you switch characters, but Age of Calamity did. A big part of Persona 5 Strikers is switching characters, because like in Persona 5, you have the baton pass mechanic where like if you knock down an enemy, you can pass the baton to another character and they get a buff. They do more damage. So similarly, there is that mechanic in this where you can switch to another character. They do the high five, and then you build like your super meter faster, or you can go right into a special move without using stamina or something. So, but yeah, they pretty intricate levels, like full like areas and stages where like you're essentially going through dungeons. Cool. They follow a similar format of like you kind of have to go to these 3 points and collect these items, and then you go into like a kind of linear dungeon part of the jail, which is what they call the dungeons, and then you get to another kind of mini boss, and then you go and fight the boss. And yeah, I think it's funny, right? Like there are points in it where I was like, this game is great, and then like it just beats you. it beats you down. It's like, no, this game is good, but it's maybe not great.
Right.
Where you're just doing like the most optimal combo is like always square, 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 triangle. It's like never not that.
Right.
There are other cool stuff that you can do, but you're trying to knock down enemies so you can do like an all-out attack for big damage. And so you're always kind of just doing the elemental weakness.
I would say that's definitely the
Muso
status quo of just that sounds exactly right. Of just doing light, heavy, light, heavy. Oh, I got my special move now. I'm doing the special move.
Yeah.
Repeat.
In this game, it's like
every mission.
Each character has their persona, and that has like a elemental affinity, and then each enemy has an elemental weakness.
Right.
So your light, heavy does your elemental attack without using your SP, your magic meter, basically. So you're just doing that attack over and over again to break them, and then you do a big attack. But like I like that they give each of the other Phantom Thieves characters a full play style. So like if you really like Ryuji and hitting stuff with a pipe, like you can do that in this game where you can't really exercise that in Persona 5. Stuff like that I really, really liked, like Makoto, who's like the fist character, a lot of Fist of the North Star references with her. She's just like super fun to play. And like some characters can like turn their basic attacks into elemental attacks, so you can just like wail on enemies. But yeah, overall, I like it. The weaknesses of it are like, I like to think of the Persona spin-off games as like anime movie the game, because you see an anime movie and you're like, well, this probably isn't canon. Sometimes it is, very, and those are usually the better ones.
Are non-canon, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, or at least canon to the anime. Like all the Dragon Ball Z movies aren't canon, but it's fine. We have, I guess the super ones are, because they wanted those to be, but who cares? It is like that. Like the Persona spin-offs are like the equivalent of that for a video game. Anime movie, the video, like it's a summer break, we're going on a road trip across Japan, gonna visit a bunch of Japanese cities.
This bad guy's here. Oh fuck, we gotta fight him.
Yeah. And then at the end of it, ultimately all the characters that you met along the way are going off on their own separate journeys, and you'll probably never see them again. But it was fun while it lasted. But the weakness of the game is just that it is just beat for beat the same story as Persona 5. Okay. It's just the story again.
That's what I was going to ask. If I thought I saw people saying this was like sort of like almost a sequel, but not it's really like a
pseudo sequel. Right. It is technically a sequel to Persona 5 and not Persona 5 Royal, so that's what kind of makes it not canon, essentially. Gotcha. Because they always kind of treat the updated version as the canon version. And they have stuff like Persona 4 Arena ended up coming out after Golden, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, that is, and that brings in elements of those other things that help make it more canon, but... the characters that they introduce, like the 2 new party members that they bring in for this game, are great, and I think fit with the core characters very well. And there was some just truly excellent story beat moments, but it's just kind of weakened by the repetitiveness and the questionable canon of it all. So kind of the same stuff that you would expect from a spin-off. But I was glad that I finally sat down and finished it. Cool. And it's a fun game. It's worth playing. It's a bummer that it's like on Switch and Persona 5 isn't. It's never not going to be a bummer.
Yeah, it still continues to be very weird. Maybe, but hopefully one day they'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's still great, and it makes me interested in a Persona action RPG. I think if the P Studios team really sat down and kind of gritted their teeth with it, I think they could make something really, really good. So at least it makes me believe that idea would be good.
Yeah, hopefully one day, right? Or maybe if they want to try something else. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the Persona turn-based combat is the only turn-based combat that I actually like. So I'm fine with where they're at, but I prefer action style games, so I would love to see them give it a shot.
Cool.
That's really all I've been playing.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. Again, I'll probably try and bring some indie games next time, because there's been some I've been looking at. Namely, Well, hopefully I'll have to figure out the actual pronunciation next time. But I think it's called Anuchard or Anucard, something like that. Anuchard. It came out like actually the day we're recording this, and it looks cool. It's like it's a kind of looks top down, like puzzle kind of Zelda, old school Zelda look sort of game going on, but with like a really weird like art style. Or I should say like a really distinct looking like character you play as, because it's like this like weird like jester kind of character, and she has like a big bell you're like swinging around. But it looked cool. I just remember seeing it at like one of those indie shows, and it stood out. Another one is called Koromon, which is literally like a Pokemon.
Hell yeah,
a Pokemon ripoff. but
the sickness continues.
But it looks cool. Like it's like it looks very very heavily inspired by the DS era Pokemon games. So it's like the like kind of the wide sprites, and they're both on Switch. I just haven't had time to actually sit down with them yet. So maybe next episode, if nothing, because I don't expect anything too crazy to happen.
Hopefully.
Within now and then, probably when we get into May,
they announce like Switch Pro tomorrow or something.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's it would be our luck.
That would be our luck. But yeah, we'll talk about some of this cool indie games next episode. But for now, we're gonna do something here since we didn't have a lot of news and game stuff to talk about that we've been talking about doing for quite some time, and now it's time.
It is time.
We're ranking the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate reveals. Basically every character that was revealed, newcomers, and the reveals of Smash Ultimate. We're to go through the trailers and just their reveals. I guess we should clarify that now. Should we just do the reveal trailers, or should we do them as like characters in the game, or should it just be focused?
I think we should do the trailers as a whole.
Okay.
Because the Everyone Is Here trailer is in here, for example, and that's like worth talking about,
For sure. And actually, I'll probably.
So we would like group stuff like Canon and Cineroar together. On the list that you gave me, we could do a different one if you have another one.
We're going to go with this list because it's a little bit easier to go with. I'm going to switch this over actually in the recording so people can see it. So this episode will probably be a little bit weirdly edited, but hey, deal with it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I feel like it'd be better for people to actually see the tier list instead of our faces. So here it is.
Maker.
As you can see here, the tier list I pulled just for ease of use has more than the Ultimate stuff on it. It has even like the old Melee trailers that they showed press. that was kind of funny. But we're not going to do any of the Melee or the Brawl or the Wii U era Smash trailers. Here we're just sticking to Ultimate because I feel like we would just get too into the weeds with having everything, and I feel like enough time has passed between those trailers that I feel like the Ultimate ones are just, I think, a step above in my opinion. So
yeah, they're definitely the king trailers,
Absolutely. So we're going to start with those. So let's say, do you want to just start in order, or do you want to just go? You just want to pick one out, or how do you want to do this?
I feel like in order would be a good way to do it.
Okay.
So the first one would be the Splatoon.
Yes, the
Smash logo in the eye.
Smash logo, Splatoon character, which is more or less their reveal. The Splatoon Inkling kids reveal that they're going to be in Smash, but it was like a all in CG trailer where basically it opens, and it shows like the two Squid Kids. I remember that reveal being very fun. It was like they held it to the end of a direct.
Yep, it was right after the Splatoon 2 DLC, the Octolinks expansion.
Right.
Reveal, and they had spent so much time on it, and then we go to these CG Splatoon kids fighting, and we were like, what's going on?
Yeah, even more Splatoon? What in the world? And then you see Splatoon girl stop, and then of course she turns, and you get the iconic. I feel like now it's pretty iconic.
The burning logo in the eye,
the big flaming logo in the sky, and all the characters in dark shadows under it, just like
Jesus. Mario looking like he's ready to kill somebody.
Yeah, they're all ready to murder this Inkling girl wanting to join Smash. She's being indoctrinated basically at that moment of like, you have to come fight now, fight all of us.
It's murder time.
Yeah,
I feel like that trailer and for me is like an A rank, maybe even potentially B.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about A rank because it was a fun, just like twist reveal. And
yes, it was
feel
unexpected.
Like we were still in that moment of like, when is Smash for Switch even going to happen? Is it soon? And then it turned out like you saw this trailer and it was like Smash is like the same freaking year this is coming out. So I think it was a fun moment. So yeah, I think let's stick to A for now, and we can move stuff.
Yeah,
we
can move stuff around
as we get deeper into trailers. So after that. That would
be the Everyone Is Here trailer.
Everyone Is Here
trailer. This is like one of my favorite trailers of all time.
This is I think honestly, probably one of my favorite trailers of all time, and just favorite Smash reveals. Period.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's just like that moment of like, what is this Smash Brothers game gonna be? And like, what is, everybody sitting here just being like, is this going to be just like a Wii U port? Because like, they're still kind of like getting the Switch started. And then this trailer came out and you're like, no, this is Smash Ultimate. It is
the ultimate game. Smash Brothers.
It's the ultimate Smash Brothers. Literally everyone is here and we're going to celebrate that. And, they literally had, all the characters slowly piling in and like they had the numbers next to them, which was very fun. And you're just sitting there just being like, all right, here.
It's just perfectly crafted, too, for dramatic effect. Like the snake reveal of him coming in on Shadow Moses, and then the Everyone Is Here. And then it cuts to like Pichu and young Link. And all the characters is like, we brought this guy back.
Yeah, Pokemon trainer is freaking here. We didn't forget about them. Yeah, like from even before that sequence of like them slowly building up characters and just being like, yeah, of course here's like original cast, like here's like Mario and Link and they're coming in, and then they start getting a little bit more interesting of like, oh, here's like, I think like the Ice Climbers were before Snake, right? I think they showed the Ice Climbers.
And like Ryu was before Snake.
And then like Cloud was too, because remember you see like Cloud and you're like, oh, sick, Cloud.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you just see the quick shot of Shadow Moses and you're just like, wait a minute, no fucking way. And then just see pulls in, and then it just pops off from there. Yep, that's awesome. I think
that's a top tier trailer, for sure.
Top tier, I agree.
I still 100%. Think that is like the best Smash Ultimate trailer, probably, even if I have like some personal favorites in there.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Like, there's definitely some really amazing things in these, like the singular character reveals, but it's like
there's other S tier trailers. It's just like this one for really me is like the whole package.
Yeah, it's hard to top them literally revealing the entire history roster of a Smash Brothers.
Like what, 64 characters or 62 characters at the time,
and just realizing like the scale of what this game is going to be. It was something else. Yeah. Along that same side, like in that same reveal, they showed Ridley too, right? Ridley was there.
Yeah, so Ridley, Daisy, and Dark Samus and Chrom, I think, were all there. Or no, Chrom was
no.
later.
I think it was Razy. I think it was Ridley and Daisy were in that reveal.
And I think Dark Samus was the other. And
I think they were later because I think.
Oh yeah, you're right. Dark Samus and Chrom were together.
Yeah, because they showed. Yeah, because there was like they did like a bunch of Smash specific directs, and I want to say that's when we saw Chrom.
The Castlevania direct is when we got Chrom and Dark Samus,
and then we got Simon and Richter, and I think
and King K Rool was that one as well. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I feel like all the Echo Fighter ones are like fine in D tier.
yeah, they're just
low effort trailers, and it's fine.
Yeah, they're just like. Of course we put some easy picks Echo characters in the game because why not?
How do you feel about the Ridley trailer? I like it a lot. It's just it's got stiff competition.
Yeah, I think at the time it was super fun, and like of course like I think it was like the meme worthy of just like LOL Ridley just murdered Mario and Mega Man. And Samus is just like, here we go again. Like there's a good like atmosphere and like fun vibe to the trailer. But I think you're right. I think like compared to some of these later ones, Um, I think it won't stand up to some of those. So I think
I mean, like all the DLC trailers are better than the Ridley trailer,
better than
except
that.
except for Byleth, but that's fine.
Yeah, there's definitely some in here. I'm more whatever in. I will put. I'll say I'm fine with Ridley at B. Let's say.
Yeah, B tier is what I was thinking as well.
B tier is all right with me. Yeah, and then like we said, the next ones were we had a follow up Smash Direct where they revealed some more stuff, and then that's where we saw Simon and Richter just come out the gate.
Yes,
and then
I would say that's like an A trailer for me.
Yeah,
Simon Richter, because you get Luigi dying.
Yeah, Luigi. That's kind of the thing with that of like, it's cool seeing Simon and Richter, but Luigi was like the actual star of that trailer for me. Like that was such an amazing whole sequence with Luigi going through the freaking Castlevania castle as his Luigi Mansion like self, terrified and ghost busting and stuff. And then of course you see him get turned into a spirit.
Yeah, he's got the poltergust with him.
It's so good.
It's just so fun, and it's like it embodies exactly the kind of bullshit that Smash should be all about, which is like weird, crazy crossover. Luigi in his Luigi's Mansion gear doing Castlevania shenanigans is just perfect.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'm with you. We can put them. They're like kind of together.
Yeah, I would put them together. I mean, I would be okay with either B or A tier. I feel like those are both good.
Yeah, I think yeah, you know what? Let's put them at B tier. I feel good about B tier. I think they're on that level. And then Crown and Dark Samus were in there. They were again.
Yeah,
they were just kind of fine.
Just kind of basic reveals.
Crown was like, oh boy, here we go, Fire Emblem character again. Even by that point, you're like, oh geez, there's this many of these guys already. Here we go.
Yeah,
Dark Samus was fun.
Yeah, Dark Samus was fun. Crown was like the one where it's like he had the kind of fake out in the Wii U trailer for Lucina,
right?
Where he was like, I guess maybe next time. He like literally says maybe next time. And that was very funny. But I am happy, and he's not another Marth clone. At least he's a Roy clone.
Yeah, he's more like a Roy clone. He's a weird clone.
Yeah, he's one of the more interesting Echo fighters, at least.
Yeah, that was fun. And then King K Rool.
Yes, this is a personal favorite for you. I know.
Yeah. This was such a fun reveal. I really like King K Rool. And that reveal, and just Donkey Kong and them hanging out in their shack. And then he's just like looming outside their thing, and then you have the really good reaction image of DK and Diddy and their eyes busting out of the. That's a cool classic trailer, and King K. Rool is definitely a character I've wanted to see like make their way into Smash for a long time. So that's definitely I'm gonna put that in A tier for sure.
Yeah, A tier feels right. That's a hype trailer.
Yeah,
the music is just so good. Yeah, also
that bust out. Yeah, when you get that Gangplank Galleon remix. Yeah, it's a great trailer all around. That does a really good.
It's so fun.
Yeah, and you see like the little montage of the classic bosses before it goes into that trailer. It's good. Yeah, it's fun. Really great. After that, we got.
That should be Isabelle. I think would be the next character. I believe.
I think Isabelle was the next one. That was in like a random direct, I believe. Right?
Yeah, it's when we got the Animal Crossing reveal.
Yeah, it's like at
the end of this.
Is at the end at the end of the Smash Direct.
It was not an Animal Crossing reveal. It was Tom Nook on a computer at the end being like, "I guess I'll come. I got a video game someday."
Yeah. It was more or less saying like Animal Crossing Switch is in development, but we did not know it was New Horizons. I think even by that point.
Yeah, we didn't.
So it was definitely a little bit of a surprise. But yeah, this was an alright trailer. I think. Yeah. I think this one was just kind of like, it made sense. Like Animal Crossing. It was definitely a surprising one, and I think it was like different from when we literally had like all of these like basically human characters, and then to have like Isabelle, who's just this wacky character that's from Animal Crossing, and like shares some stuff from Villager, and like shares that similar vibe, and I think that was it was fun, but I think
that's like a C. I think
it wasn't anything like extraordinary at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think C was a good spot for that. Next up was, I think it was Ken, Incineroar, and Piranha Plant. Because this is when we
I
first.
think maybe Piranha Plant came later. I don't know.
I think they were all in the same thing, because I want to say there was like one final direct, and that's where like they revealed like there's like the single player mode in Smash Ultimate, and then our last two kind of base roster characters with Ken and Incineroar. And I remember there was like a whole huge hubbub because like things were leaking and not leaking.
We had the infamous leak. I forget what name.
Yeah, it was like the Grinch. The Grinch leak. That's what it was.
The Grinch leak. Yeah, how could I forget?
Yeah, and which ended up
that had what was the wild one? The little white dudes from
it was
like
Rhythm Heaven. It was Rhythm Heaven, and like it had
Banjo on it.
Banjo on it, which is pretty funny now in hindsight for sure. I think it had Gino in it, and it had somebody else. But yeah, that was an infamous leak for a while, which then Ken and Incineroar abruptly beat that in their cool wrestling match. I would say that this was like a cool like it was a cool like double reveal, and like it made sense as them together, like having these like, you know, essentially fighting characters like go off against each other. But I think it definitely was a factor of like that was the leaks and things around it were like built up so much that like it definitely took away from it was hard to like watch this in that moment, right? And then like not have that be sort of cleared by that whole thing that went down.
I'm just realizing that we never got a Pokemon DLC character, and that's pretty wild.
Yeah. That's definitely very surprising.
They went bold. They went big for this DLC. It's pretty wild. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think like we all knew a Pokemon was coming at that time too, and Ken seemed like a pretty safe bet.
Yeah. They definitely felt like the safest bets for sure.
Yeah, I'd say those would probably be C for me as well.
Yeah. I think that's a good place for them.
What about Piranha Plant? Piranha Plant did have its own trailer.
Piranha Plant did have its own trailer, and while it was kind of like more on the level of, like an Echo, because it wasn't like a full CG trailer, it was like all in game. I actually really like this trailer.
It's good.
It was just so out of the blue, and I really liked some of like the shots you see of the in-game stuff, and it had like a good music remix in it. And it was just like a fun thing because, you know, that's when we first got that confirmation of like it wasn't the first DLC character, which we'll get to next, but like it was like fun just like having that, you know, knowing like yes, DLC is truly happening, and and it seems like it's in a pretty big way. And this is like a fun and just totally completely bizarre way to start this. So I liked the Piranha Plant reveal. I want to put that in B.
Oh, B. I would say C, but yeah, I'm okay with B. Just know that I'm gonna be putting some stuff up a little bit later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yep. I figured this next one was gonna be one that was more in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, although I think Joker, man,
the trailer is pretty cool.
The trailer is great. I think like especially at the time, Game Awards, it's hype. We don't know what Nintendo's announcement's going to be.
Yeah.
This obviously would set a dangerous precedent for the Game Awards going into the future.
Yeah, I know, right?
But yeah, it's crazy because it was Persona, and like so many people were like, "Oh, it's got to be Persona coming to Switch."
Of course.
And then you get the card flip.
Yeah,
and you see
it gets the letter and it flips.
The envelope with the Smash symbol. It like broke my brain because it changed what we thought was possible, I think.
Right.
At the time, like we really didn't know what the DLC was going to look like, but they came out of the gate swinging. Obviously, you know, they go out on a really high note too. I'd say like this is A for me, just because it is a great trailer. It's super hype. It is the weaker of the CG Smash trailers, though, you know, in content. But it is like so fun, and it's such a great pick for a character. And you hear all the Phantom Thieves say something for it.
Yeah,
It's really
the animation's really cool. Like I like all like the the cloud and like the dust
the
going
Smash
around.
characters
You see,
in the smoke.
you see like Mario and Kirby and Link and stuff like in the smoke forms. It's a cool trailer, but yeah, it is. It definitely is like a little simpler in some respects to some of these more elaborate CG trailers we're gonna get to.
Yeah.
Next up, I think once again we had two character reveals in the follow up direct after that. We had a big
the
E3
June direct, right? It was the
June
E3 one,
direct, yeah. And we got the hero from Dragon Quest, and of course Banjo-Kazooie. I feel like we obviously know where Banjo-Kazooie is going. I don't know.
What an incredible moment!
There's no beating around the bush with that one. I think for both of us.
Yeah, that is like an S tier.
That's an S tier. Sure. It was such an incredible moment, and
your boys are coming home. You know, that's what it felt like.
It felt
Donkey Kong and Diddy are stoked. You know, everybody's happy.
It felt like such a clear recognition of like this like years of Smash fans and people wanting these characters to be represented in like
they look so good.
They're so well, it's so well done, and like the music renditions are, dude. They even got freaking Grant Kirkhope to. They
got Grant Kirkhope to do a new song for that trailer specifically. Yeah, it's good.
It's really awesome.
Hero, on the other hand, is fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was fine. I do like this one out of all of the trailers, in my personal opinion, had the most like Smash Brothers like subspace vibes to it. Like I liked just seeing the like here's Hero fighting like Meta Knight and all these other people for whatever reason, and like Marth are all here. It was like I liked it from that perspective, but you're right, it is kind of just like everybody's just kind of fighting, and then he just kind of is there with a sword. And I do like the reveal of like you see all the Dragon Quest heroes at the end, and then you see them
that is
pulling
cool.
off their modes. So it's fun, but it's fun, but you're right, but it is not like it's hard to live up to like the reveals of these like long time characters that people have wanted, right? It's hard to match up to probably our personal biases, which are not as strong.
I think also you gotta understand, like we were in the midst of Square trying to sell Dragon Quest 11 to us again,
right?
But now it's on Switch, and we just heard that goddamn theme song so many times. Like they played it in every trailer, the same goddamn song.
You're right.
And they played it right at the beginning of this trailer too, and it's like
yeah, it's like, again, come on. I think what do you think? B?
I think B is fine for that, yeah.
Yeah, B's fine.
It's obviously a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal. So that was our two after that. After that, our reveal trailer, he technically got like teased. It was like weird, right? Because he got like teased in like multiple ways, right? It was like they showed him like a quick tease of him, and then they had like the trailer where it's like him going through. It's like, I actually think it's like a really good trailer where it's like
an excellent trailer. For sure.
It's going through like
all these King of Fighters characters
and like SNK characters, because they tease like, oh, this character is from this era of video games, and then they like showed all these like you said, like King of Fighters characters, or like straight up different SNK characters from other like very classic fighting games, as they're like trying to grab this letter, and it's like recreating like ending scenes from their arcade battles and things like that. And then it ends with Terry being like revealed in his kind of Smash Brothers form. And I will say, like, I don't like have a lot of reverence for a lot of like super old like SNK fighting games, but just seeing that trailer like made me appreciate Sakurai's clear love for that.
Sakurai clearly loves SNK so much. So, and like that presentation is honestly probably my favorite Sakurai presents, of him like just being like, let me tell you motherfuckers what a real fighting game looks like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're sitting here trying to tell me shit about fighting games. Let me tell you something. Yeah, for sure.
He's like talking about his going to the arcades in the 80s and playing SNK, like Streets of Rage and stuff. It's like, okay, yeah. I mean, I get it, Sakurai. You like Terry. This was the one Sakurai went to Nintendo and like, you're going to let me do Terry, and I'm going to do it right.
Yeah, I'm going to do it right. You have my first. I'm going to be bold and say A tier.
I think A tier is good. I know not if Nobishin were here, he'd be screaming that it's an S tier trailer, but I think he'll settle for A tier.
For sure. And then our final character for the first set of DLCs was Byleth. And it was like, of course, like the like underwhelming, like, oh, you're really gonna put the last character here for this wave of DLC as a Fire
It's
Emblem
not
character.
A great trailer. Also,
and it really was just kind of a whatever trailer for sure. I agree with that.
I like Fire Emblem too. Like, to be clear, I've not played Three Houses, but like, it's just her and the dragon girl just talking for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. And then it's just Fire Emblem happens. I'm putting it up below.
Yeah, it's a D tier trailer. Yeah. We all know it.
Yep. Let's see. Now we're on to our next wave of DLC fighters. These are our final 6 here. I honestly completely forgot Min Min was the first character for the first pass. So much of that was like such a blur to my mind still.
You were in the midst of it at that point.
Yeah, totally. But
that's a good trailer. It's like it is fine,
Yeah, I think it was like a fun like seeing like because like they've not really shown like ARMS characters outside of their like fighting attire in a lot of ways. So, like it gave like a fun little like different look at like.
Yeah, now ARMS characters can transform into their ARMS form.
Into their ARMS form. So yeah, it was fun, but it definitely was that thing of just like, oh yeah, we're finally doing this ARMS character like a year after ARMS came out or something like that. So
yeah,
it was fine though. I like Captain Falcon's inclusion into it. I'm gonna put it. How about C? C seems right.
Yeah, C is what I was thinking too.
Now. Oh boy, Minecraft Steve was next, right? Man.
Yeah.
What that was honestly, I did like this trailer.
It's a good trailer, to be fair.
It's hard to like think of this moment and not remembering like this literally shut down Twitter for a day. Like this like literally Twitter went down because of this announcement. Like it's hard to like think about it again with this trailer and losing just the like collective internet's reaction to this, and on top of that, just being a fun trailer where it's literally like Mario gets punched out of a Smash Brothers like match and like into like a dark cave, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what is Mario doing? He's hearing creepy sounds, and all of a sudden, Minecraft Steve just like literally mines into a wall, and he's just there, and you're just. What? And even Mario just stood there staring at him like, what the fuck?
What are you? What are you supposed to be?
What the hell is happening right now? You dang young kids and your weird new video games. What am I? I'm an old man now. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, Mario looking down his mustache at Steve with eating his meat.
Oh God. That was utterly ridiculous. And it's hard for me to see it any other way.
I was thinking B, probably B for Steve.
Yeah, B's all right, but that whole moment was insane.
I forgot Twitter broke. Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, so funny. So I think was Sephiroth next or was it Pyra? I think it was Sephiroth.
I'm trying to think when it was Sephiroth because Steve came out in October and then Sephiroth was in December.
Yeah.
God, the Sephiroth trailer is like in that tier of like, what is happening? It goes from the ending of the game of the story mode, right, to Sephiroth killing the final boss to like immediately going into Advent Children.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I totally did forget that. Like they literally just
fully recreate, and then Mario gets like stabbed.
A scene from Advent Children. That is pretty.
It's incredible. This trailer is incredible.
Yeah.
If I'm ever feeling sad, I have to watch this trailer.
Yeah. I will say, in fairness, though, I think that's because it speaks very directly to you.
For sure.
Where I'd say, like, to me, it did. I really did. I did like the absurdity of Sephiroth cutting the final boss in half. But other than that, it did feel very just like, okay, yeah, they're just gonna put a final. They're gonna make the rights of how they fucked up putting Cloud into this game. Before with Sephiroth. So
I'd say I'd be okay with Sephiroth in A tier. But it was such a hype moment.
Mm-hmm.
And the music, yeah, the One-Winged Angel playing the whole time, and then the stage. It just cuts the stage, and it's just the end of Final Fantasy VII.
You're just like, yeah, here's the world blowing up. Yep. I mean, it's considering we earlier in this episode just talked about how we're not really in the world of Xenoblade Chronicles. I think Pyra and Mithra were definitely in that. Like this kind of did nothing for me, if I'm being honest. Like I don't have like a reverence for this franchise, but it makes sense because like this is popular and people like Xenoblade and it's a Nintendo franchise.
It was cool. Like I know the Xenoblade team did the trailer. And it was cool like having that fake out of like it's a bunch of scenes like that are edited from Xenoblade 2 of like Rex walk around like where's Pirate? Like where are my buddies? And then it's like, oh, we left because we're way cooler than you.
Yeah, you fucking dork. And yeah, just
and I like that, they took all the transformation characters out save for Pokemon Trainer and then they brought like a new one in, and I think Mithra is just super badass. So I like them as a whole, but yeah, I don't have like any sentiment toward the trailer. I would say like B or C tier would be fine with me.
I was thinking C.
Yeah, it's better than the bottom barrel trailers for sure. But
yeah, and honestly, in that similar vein, like Kazuya was kind of there for me too. Like again,
this is a great trailer.
It is a good trailer. As him just throwing a bunch of
throwing all the characters into volcanoes.
It is very good. But definitely like as a character, I definitely was just like, okay, sure. I don't have a reference for the series, but it was a fun trailer to see Kazuya just throw
Captain Falcon into a volcano.
Through Captain Falcon and like
try to throw Kirby and then Kirby flies out.
Away, that's a B tier.
That was fun.
Me, but B tier is
because the trailer itself is so good.
Yeah, good, very good trailer. And then of course,
the
boy. Now I might be a little controversial
here we go.
Because
this trailer did cure my depression. I want you to know. Before you say anything.
All right, relax. I think I like that Sora is in this in Smash Brothers, because I truly did not believe that he would make it in.
Yes,
because it definitely seemed like such a stretch, but I personally think this trailer was kind of just fine.
Sure. Okay.
I think it was cool to see them kind of do the full circle of like, this is them going back to like that Splatoon reveal trailer sequence when now all the characters are here, and then Sora, I don't know, he just like the flame goes out and now he's just here. It felt
the last piece of the fire.
Yeah. I don't know, like that was like that felt more just like they wanted to make one last CG thing, and they couldn't get Disney to okay anything because they're fucking Disney.
Yeah.
And all they can get is 0.3 seconds of a Mickey Mouse emblem to appear on the screen. So then we'll just have Sora like fly around for a bit, and then
I loved it though. Like it was like the most. It's such a Kingdom Hearts trailer. And it's cool because it's like clearly.
I would say if it's a Kingdom Hearts trailer, they would be like 10 scenes of like organization characters just like saying vague lines. You'd just be like, "What the fuck?"
It reminds me a lot of like the Dream Drop Distance opening cinematic trailer that they put out. Like it's got the music. It's got like just the CG. My cat's reaching for my water bottle. I love this. I think it's this is an S tier trailer for me, 100%. But like they revel in the moment of like, you have to live in that context of like Sora was the most requested character. So this trailer speaks to those people very directly, obviously, of like, yes, he's finally here. And like, that's what it's like, Sora's finally here. I love it. I love the vibes. I like all the gameplay snippets in the trailer too, of like Sora just hanging out in a bunch of different Nintendo places. I love this one for sure.
We'll even it out and put him in A tier.
That's fair.
Because I was probably gonna go with B. So we'll put Sora in A. But yeah, I think this is pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm feeling pretty good. The only change I would make, because I kept thinking about the absurdity of Steve in Minecraft, I would move Steve up 1. How does that sound?
Just move Steve to A tier, sure.
Other than that, I feel pretty good about
this.
Honestly,
like Sora and Sephiroth would probably be S tier for me personally. But otherwise, yeah, I'm. This is a good list. Just like it speaks to like the fact that almost all those DLC trailers are like the top tier.
Yeah.
Like Terry, Sephiroth, Steve, Sora, and Joker, and then Banjo and whatnot. I gotta kick my cat out.
Very good. Yeah, I was agreeing with what you were saying. Of just like, I think the thing that helped that, because they were DLC characters.
He ran under my bed, so I guess he's staying.
He's here. Everyone is here, so he's here too.
Exactly.
I think the thing that helped those trailers excel so much was because they were about the singular character and the singular franchise, right? Most of the time, so you could have this moment like reveling in this moment of this one character and making it all about them. And and having have that moment for that character, right?
Compared and the references for that character, like the Terry trailer is like the perfect example of that, of like all these other King of Fighters and Streets of Rage characters that we don't see. Well, we do see, I guess, in the background of the stage, which is a cool way to kind of tie the trailer into how it appears in Smash as well.
Right.
But it's just like clearly such a loving, like, the person making this trailer, care so much about this franchise that I'm representing. And that is true of most of the trailers, even if it's not the ones that you like.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think it definitely, it helps, letting these characters be able to like stand out on their own. Compared to where in some of these you might only be able to get brief snippets of all those characters. But yeah, I like this. I'm feeling good about this list. Again, there's obviously like Wii U and other era stuff, but I honestly, it's been long enough that I don't even like fully remember some of these trailers. So
the only one like that really sticks out to me is Mega Man. That's a hype trailer for sure.
Mega Man's reveal was pretty hype. The original like Brawl trailer was hype.
Yes,
but I think that helped because it had like all of the new characters kind of together, right? Where like this has them like individual, where I would like put that as like a singular trailer, right?
And he had the snake moment, right? The
snake reveal at the end.
Very good.
Wario farting on everybody. It was a good time in that trailer.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of dumb fun. Oh, of course I totally realized what the one down at the bottom was with the me character reveals, and you had Reggie and Iwata fight each other.
Yeah, that was legendary for sure.
That's a great trailer as well. So there's fun stuff in there, but I think we can just think
you
about
can tell like when they figured out, this is where the budget goes.
Yes, we need the characters speak for themselves more or less, and they clearly.
Do you think? We're a ways away for sure, but do you think the next Smash Brothers game, like, is there any chance the trailers live up to the expectations?
Oh man, that's tough. Because I really am up in the air about what they're gonna do with Smash. With Smash next, because like there's part of me that like could totally live in a world where they just port Smash Ultimate and just keep adding stuff to that. I think there would definitely be people who would not be into that idea. Potentially, they'd be
into it if it had better netcode, I'd say.
Yeah, probably. That's a good point. But I also could also be totally excited for a world where they maybe like kind of do a soft reset, right? And maybe like, shrink it down to back to like maybe focused on Nintendo characters and give some of their characters, some of the, characters who have been in Smash forever, sure, but like I don't think have some of the attention to detail that some of these current characters got, right? Like, yeah. I look at Mario and like Link and Samus, and like some of those, they're like, not to say that they weren't fun, they aren't still fun in some ways, and in some ways those movesets became their movesets and iconic in some ways. But like, I just think of the idea of like, literally like somebody like the Dragon Quest hero who has like 20 billion spells on their bottom moves, or like these fighting game characters who have multiple inputs that are like pulled from their games. And then you look at like Mario, who's like, he can shoot a fireball and he barely uses his flood, or like he I feel like thinking of an idea of like where Mario could have that much utility in his moveset of like, here's a Mario where he can just pull out all of the items he's gotten from across like his 30 plus years of Mario video games, where he can turn into metal, or like get a flying cap, or become a Tanuki Mario, or become a Frog Mario. Like there's still so many things I think they could do with those core Nintendo characters, and like celebrate their massive history, right? In the characters' movesets, like a lot of these new Smash Brothers characters do. And I think they could find a way to make that really cool and exciting, and having like a new Smash, even though it doesn't have the wow factor of like here's like, I don't know, here's Banjo again, or Crash Bandicoot, or some other character that you didn't think was going to be in here. That's crazy, but like giving like going back to Nintendo characters and giving them like a full refresh and give them those franchises that amount of detail to their movesets and things could be really cool too.
Totally. Like Samus definitely could have a more technical moveset, but
yeah,
like Ice Beam or Wave Beam or crazy other stuff that you can throw in there, or like Dash or whatever.
Yeah, like she's able to change her beams, or change her missile types, or do stuff like that, or have a Link that has way more versatility of his items and can like do different things and abilities with his items. Like, granted, he has a lot of items, but think of like a Link that can shoot normal arrows, but then he can like switch to like fire arrows, or even like ice arrows, or bomb arrows, or other things.
Or have like a young Link that can transform into like Goron Link and Zora Link. And stuff
totally.
Like
yeah. Like there's still a lot they could do even with their own roster of characters, and I could see a scenario where maybe they start simpler again and kind of have like a soft reset and focus on their Nintendo characters. But then, something we've talked about with other franchises, what Nintendo could do, and like look at Smash as more of a long-term game that they're just constantly updating, right? Then, you could have the thing where maybe they start off smaller, but then, a year or two from now, they get back to these characters and their brand new takes on, Min from ARMS, or bring back Steve from Minecraft and have him be wacky in a different way, or bring back other Fire Emblem, the 20 Fire Emblem characters that have probably existed since then, or something.
Yeah,
there's still so much they could do with that. So I definitely don't think it'll be a thing where they, I don't see Smash being gone for that long. even though
sure.
we had Ultimate, which felt like a big
3 years of Smash Ultimate.
Yeah, I think by the time we see a Switch 2 or a new Switch successor, I don't think it'll be that long before we see another Smash Brothers video game.
Yeah, but man, what a video game Smash Ultimate is! Still love that game today.
Still love that game. And yeah, we should try and do a stream of that again soon, because it has been a while since we've gone back. I think it'd be fun. But yeah, this is fun. Here's our ranking of Smash Ultimate reveals and / trailers. Feel free to roast us in the comments or whatever. Well, I don't mind.
Tell us that we're dumb for not liking Steve or whatever.
Who cares? I don't really care. These are always subjective, but it's still, it can be fun to do.
Yeah, it's fun.
So you let us know what you think this tier that we put together, and then that's going to be the episode, I think.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening, either on podcast services or watching on youtube.com/irrational passions. As always, we appreciate you stopping by and listen to us talk about Nintendo stuff.
Anything cooking we want to talk about?
Anything cooking. There should be some viewpoints of some cool indie games coming up. I'll probably also talk about those in another episode of this later in May. Helm to Tower, me and Alex's Destiny 2. If I know Destiny 2 is not really a Nintendo thing, but if you're into us and Irrational Passions, we just started a focused YouTube channel all about Destiny 2. That video game is actually starting to heat up with some news, and a new season is only like a month away, so we're probably going to be doing a lot more stuff leading up to that, which I'm pretty stoked for.
Yeah, we'll probably do like our seasonal check-in. We might do it on Helm to Tower now, but
yeah, absolutely.
That'll come up, and excited for new subclass updates and stuff.
Yeah. So we got that going on. You have IPD&D.
IPD&D, yeah, episode 3 just posted. I got it at May 9th is when episode 4 is going to post. That's the end of like the prologue section of the campaign's kind of getting off to the races after that point.
Excellent.
Very proud of it. It's a good show. I was listening to it thinking like, hey, this is, these guys are pretty good at this. So yeah, I would, if you're into actual play Dungeons and Dragons stuff, go check it out. IPDND, rationalpassion.com/IPDND. It's on the top of the page as well.
Excellent. But yeah, I think that's it.
That's all the big stuff.
We'll be back in May.
Is there a Nintendo game coming out in May? Do we know? Outside of Switch Sports or whatever?
Switch Sports is the very, very last week of May. That's pretty funny. I just got a notification that new Sega Genesis games are coming to Switch on my phone as I went to go check for video games. We got, what is that? Sonic Spinball, Shining Force 2, and something else I can't read. So there you go. That's
okay. Sonic Pinball is a good.
Yeah, Sonic Spinball. So there you go. That's some news we just live happening here. My May calendar and my phone is currently blank for video games, period. Like I don't even have any other things. But I think again there are some smaller indie games that probably are not, that I've definitely had on my radar, but either not popping immediately in my head, that I definitely will want to check out.
And then it's in June, it's what, Mario Strikers, right?
Is that the Mario Strikers? I think it's Battle League, right? That is like end of June, and then July we have Live Alive, the Klonoa remakes. Hell yeah! And then the Xenoblade 3 now as well. So a lot of games actually in July. July will be popping off with video games,
and we'll know what happened in June at that point.
Yeah, we'll know what happened in June. I think
maybe we could do like an E3 predictions next month.
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up.
Not E3.
Yeah, like we could do our Nintendo Direct predictions, or I was thinking something we could try is doing a bingo card, a Nintendo Direct bingo card, and putting a bingo card together, and then because we'll probably end up watching that live. I'm sure potentially, hopefully,
I think so. Yeah,
that we'll be able to pull that off if work schedules and other things work out that way. But yes, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.